what I ask those people who try to throw stones at what we're trying to do. And of course, to one other question, what myself and Ram Garu, while we were having breakfast, one other interesting topic came up. In fact, he wanted me to share those views as well in this forum, that is concerning the capital. Well, it was a very interesting conversation what we had there. I just asked him a few questions. I just said, see, being in the Chief Minister's post, it gives you a tremendous amount of power, and along with that, there's tremendous responsibility on your shoulders. Few decisions what you take impact the next generation, and few decisions that you don't take also impact few generations. As I just spoke about English medium a while ago, decisions if you do not take, what kind of impact it would have on next generations. Similarly, this decision to have 3 capitals, if you do not take, will also have an impact on the next generation. Because the fact is, the current capital, Amaravati, which is spoken about, it is neither in Vijayawada, neither in Guntur. It is 30-40 kilometers away from Vijayawada or Guntur. It is in a virgin land, away from Vijayawada, 30-40 kilometers, away from Guntur, 30-40 kilometers, in a virgin land. And in fact, if you were to make a visit there, you would probably not even have a 2-lane road there. You would have to go through a single-lane road. Okay, leaving aside the factor that why he chose that land there, because the fact is what everybody in the state are fully aware, that he and his cronies have bought huge chunks of land after he became the Chief Minister and before the announcement of the capital, before these villages came into public domain. After he became the Chief Minister, he and his cronies have bought huge chunks of land here, and then the capital was announced there. Okay, leaving aside that factor, because this happens to be a virgin land, 53,000 acres of land, what was land pooled according to him. Because this is a virgin land, with no infrastructure there practically, just to provide for basic infrastructure, like roads, drains, electricity, water, and stormwater drains. Just for these basic infrastructure alone, according to the previous government's reports, it costs 2 crores per acre. So 53,000 acres into 2 crores per acre is 1,09,000 crores according to their own report. Just to provide this basic infrastructure because it's a virgin land. And because this is a virgin land, because it requires for this basic infrastructure 1,09,000 crores, how much did the previous government spend in the past 5 years? Interesting question, an interesting answer. You know how much they spent? 5,677 crores alone. Of course, he left me with a baggage of 2,300 crores, what he conveniently pushed on to me, and he said, you pay. Okay, what any government in those 5 years' time, what any government could afford to spend is that number of 5,000 to 6,000 crores. That is the capability of any government to spend. And you know at what cost that money was spent? 10.32% interest borrowings. What we get from central government is peanuts. 1,500 crores came in. And I don't expect anything beyond that to come in. Maybe at best they'll contribute another 1,000 crores. Beyond that, they don't contribute. So everything would have to come with the debt. And this is the interest rate we're paying. And now you tell me, as a father, what would a father do? What would a chief minister do? Today my situation is, I'm sitting down here. There is this Amaravati capital which requires 1,09,000 crores minus 6,000 crores, another 1,03,000 crores to provide for this basic infrastructure, roads, drains, power and water. And now my ability to put in money is around about 6,000 crores, or at best 7,000 crores. Even presuming that the borrowings come. Now, an investment, the amount what is required is more than 1,00,000 crores. And my ability to put in is around about 5,000-6,000 crores. Wouldn't be, just imagine what it would contribute. It would be like a drop of water in an ocean. It would not even be visible. Whereas, Visakhapatnam, Vizag, it's already a #1 city in Andhra Pradesh. It has all the infrastructure already in existence. The roads, the drains, the power, the water, everything. Out of this 1,00,000 crores, even 10% of this amount, if I were to put into Visakhapatnam, Vizag, at least, if not now, if not 5 years, at least in 10 years' time, we would be competing with Hyderabad. We would be competing with Bangalore. We would be competing with Chennai, where children of my state need not go looking for a job to Hyderabad or Bangalore or Chennai, but would have one destination that is in our own state, our own capital, our own Vizag. Now, this is my predicament. What would you do if you were in my shoes? In fact, the decision what we've taken is, we try to make sure that, everybody is happy. We try to make sure that everybody is justified. The seats of governance, we've broken them into 3 parts. And we said Amaravati would continue to have a legislative assembly. It would continue to be a legislative capital. So we're not depriving it of anything. It would continue. And the growth would take place in due course of time. As and when the natural course, the growth would take place. So this would continue to be a legislative capital, where the assembly would be held 60 days or 70 days or whatever. The entire legislators would come here, sit down here, spend the 60, 70 days here, and be here. It would continue to be the legislative assembly. While Vizag, the #1 city currently in Andhra Pradesh, would become the executive capital, where the chief minister sits, where the ministers sit, where the secretariat operates, where the HODs, head of the departments, operate, where there is a proper infrastructure already in existence. So executive capital happens to be there. Then the third seat of governance, that is the judicial. There we made sure that judicial also goes to Rayalaseema, Kurnool, which was, ironically, I don't know if many of you would remember or not, but Kurnool happened to be the capital of Andhra Pradesh from 1953 to 1956. When the state of Andhra Pradesh was carved out way back in 1937 itself, prior to independence, when we were part of Tamil Nadu, when Telugu people wanted a different state. It was agreed upon and agreements entered into that Kurnool, there was an agreement by name Shribag Pact was entered into, where in those days itself, elders in those days have decided that decentralization should take place and seats of governance should be split. And in accordance with that agreement, from 1953 to 1956, Kurnool was the capital of Andhra Pradesh. And to give it its due share, we made sure that judicial capital starts functioning from there. So what we have done is not do any injustice to any part of the state. What we have done is, while we do justice here, justice is imparted to other parts of the state as well. And this we've taken a cautious decision because we would want to see ourselves somewhere. If I am the chief minister of a state, I am answerable to the next generation. And the next generation expects jobs, expects an engine of growth. They want a pride. They come out of a college, a degree in their hands, looking for a job. Where do they go? Today my situation is, I do not have the funds to complete a grandiose capital like Amaravati. And if I were to yield to the so-called critics and not go ahead with the shifting plans of Vizag, then that means I would not be investing in Visakhapatnam, Vizag, which just takes 10% of my costs. Then what would I do after 5 years down the line? We sit down here, we come here, and then we once again say, where is your capital? And I would still say in a village or a mandal headquarters, a Tullur, where I do not have the financial ability to complete it. And then this 1 lakh crores, mind you, is just the basic numbers. 20 years down the line, this 1 lakh crore would probably become 3 lakh crores or 4 lakh crores with interest added to it. So every time we come close, the interest rates once again make sure that 1 lakh becomes 3 lakhs. And we do not have a land bank as the opposition leader Chandrababu Naidu says so. I've asked with the authorities as to how much of land bank we have. You know, surprising things, surprising information that we've got. Minus the NGT land, the Green Tribunal, according to the norms, whatever land what we're supposed to leave, minus the land that we're supposed to leave because River Conservation Act says, if we were to remove those lands where no construction activity legally is supposed to happen, we're just left with around about 5,200 acres of land. And 5,200 acres of land should give me 1 lakh crores today, or with interest 20 years down the line, if it is 3 lakhs, then this 5,000 should give me 3 lakhs 20 years down the line. So it's 20 crores an acre now, or 5,000 into probably 3 lakh crores or 4 lakh crores, 90 crores per acre 20 years down the line. So do we have that? Or where do we get that money from? So that was the predicament with which we had to take decisions, what we had to take. And all of them sound very revolutionary. But all what I can say is, I have done everything as a father would do. And since I've been bestowed with this responsibility of being a father to the state of Andhra Pradesh, I've done my fatherly duty to the best of my ability. And thank you for this opportunity. And any of you want to ask anything, I'm there to give you some replies. Any of you, have any queries, any doubts, any issues? You can always ask. No, one second. The mic will come to you. Then you can. Yeah, you go ahead. మీ పేరు ఏం పేరు నా? Your good name? Yeah, na, చెప్పనా?
I'm basically a physician. I'm interested in education also.
Yeah,
Because I'm very much impressed with the speech of our Chief Minister. Even though it's not my subject, I came here to attend the meeting to compliment the Chief Minister for the good work which he is doing, and I wish him all success. Now, coming to this topic, well, Mr. Chief Minister, your planning is excellent, superb. But the execution also, you have given us the plan. In 4 years, we are going to complete it. But will it become real? Or will it become like the plan of my ex-chief minister? I'm sorry, I'm quoting him. Because our ex-chief minister also gave so many promises when he assumed the office. But after the course of the completion of his term, we have seen what is happening. Now we are back to square one. Now will it be like that? I don't wish to be like that. I wish that your project is executed. Thank you very much. I would like to know the concrete measures. See, you have given about the financial estimation also for the project. Are you ready with that? Or are you waiting for any grant from any other source? Thank you.
No, as I've said earlier, the decision to shift originates from the fact that we do not have the funds. Decision to shift originates from the fact that that is less expensive. That takes only 10% of 1 lakh crores. So the very fact that I do not want to mislead people, I do not want to show graphics, I do not want to show Bahubali graphics or Singapore city or Japan, or one of the Japanese cities. I do not want to show those graphics, and I do not want to mislead anybody by doing so. I'm just saying the mere facts. This is reality. We do not have that kind of funds. And if order of priority were to be drawn on, where do we stand? See, today I was discussing the other day the plight of water in drought-prone areas. You know, the situation currently is we've seen good amount of rainfall this year. Yet, in Rayalaseema area, 6 districts, 4 districts of Rayalaseema and Prakasam and Nellore, we've seen a situation where dams are not filled up, where the carrying capacity of the canals, the water carrying capacity in the canals, it's not there. R&R issues are there. To make sure that these dams are filled up, to make sure that these carrying capacities of the canals are in line with the dams to be filled up, the drought mitigation package, what engineers have arrived at, is a 33,000 crore package. Uttarandhra Sujal Shravanti, the districts of Vizag, Vijayanagaram, Srikakulam, where Polavaram canal needs to be taken up to Srikakulam. It requires 16,000 crores. So where do I draw priorities? The existing ongoing projects, what have been taken up for decades, since my dad, when my dad was the chief minister, projects what have been started, to as late as the previous chief minister Chandrababu Naidu left incomplete. To complete those projects, we require another 25,000 crores. Where do I draw my priorities? Krishna is in a situation where water is not assured. the quantum of water reaching Srisailam. That is the first point of Krishna waters reaching Andhra Pradesh. 47 years of CWC records say 1200 TMC of water reaches Srisailam. But the same CWC records, if we were to take 10 years, last 10 years records, they say the water has dwindled from 1200 TMC to 600 TMC. And if the very same CWC records were to be taken into cognizance for the past 5 years, the quantum of water has further depleted to 400 TMC. This is reality. So on one side we have Krishna, the entire Krishna eye cut in a question mark, which affects not only 6 districts there, but also Guntur and Krishna and also certain part of West Godavari as well. Entire Krishna eye cut is in a question mark. While we have Godavari on the other side, what floods, where 3000 TMC of water go into the sea. The only recourse, because we are an agrarian economy, 62% of our population survives only on agriculture. And the only recourse is to divert Godavari waters into Krishna. And according to those reports, when I asked the engineers to prepare, one report they said 68,000 crores is required. I said it's too expensive. Come out with a better solution, a cheaper model, a faster model. Then they're trying to work out another model, what probably might cost another 45,000 or 50,000 crores. So what are my priorities? Where do I draw my priorities? Do I have the money to do all of them and also do all this? Housing for the poor. The number of people who do not have houses, this year we're going to make sure that everybody gets a house patta. And approximately 25 lakh house pattas we're distributing this Ugadi. Now all these people are given house pattas. These people do not even have houses that they can live in. If we were to target at least out of this 25 lakhs to construct to them houses in 4 years' time, it would be at least 6 lakh houses per annum. And 6 lakhs into 1.5 lakh is approximately 9,000 crores per annum. So we're talking about another 40,000 crores. So where do I prioritize? Do I have the money to do this, to do all this and also do that? I do not have that kind of liberty or flexibility with me. So that is why we've taken the best city in Andhra Pradesh, the already developed city in Andhra Pradesh, and trying to give it a fillip so that it elevates to a next level. That's what we're trying to do.
May I now ask a question?
Yeah.
You're giving the highest priority to education. Would you like to tell us a little bit about teachers' training? That's going to be the hard bit to get them over this 4-year period and beyond also.
I think this question I leave my minister, my colleague.
In the panel discussion.
No, because the background of him is, he's an IRS. He's from Indian Revenue Service. Railway Service or Revenue Service? Revenue Service. These are the level what we talk, IAS, IPS, IRS. And my colleague is from a background of IRS. He took a VRS, voluntary retirement, and then he joined politics. And he's from the aspirational community. He's a Dalit. The aspirational community what actually wants this change to take place. And we've made him the education minister so that he could lead from the front this change that we want to bring about.
Thank you.
And these technical issues, because what we're doing currently in making sure that teachers are trained, there's a huge curriculum drawn out. There's a training curriculum where 13 districts, initially every district we train 2 people, 20 people, 13 districts, 13 districts into 20 people, 260 people initially. Where is Vetri? Yeah, my Vetri. She is our young IAS officer, Vetri Selvan, and she is here to. She is spearheading this campaign program. She is involved in the curriculum part. Curriculum meaning not only evolving the curriculum, but also training of teachers and also the bridge courses for the children. So it involves two things. One is the bridge courses for the children. The second is the second part is the training curriculum for the teachers. So on both these issues, she is the one who is in charge. So I'll have her actually address those doubts any of you have on that particular context, because she would be a better judge. She would be a better person than me to give you the nitty-gritties and give you the detailing part of it. Now you want it right away, she can do it. She can take over.
This, just 1 minute. It is a very lucid presentation of a case for change. And I can't see any flaw, can you, in this argument that is put forward on this part, but set in broader context. So one final question to the Chief Minister, if you have the time. Why he spoke about the other things and why I requested is they're all linked. The priority given to excellence in education, a complete makeover, what he calls a revolutionization of the educational situation, can't be seen in isolation from everything else, including the resource crunch and so on, the capital issue. But I just want to ask you about this reverse tendering, because we are in the news business.
Okay.
In some way, that is also linked, because that is going to, you told me when I called on you last time that you hope to save 15 to 20% on all major projects. Yeah. And what's the initial experience?
In fact, this was also one of the discussions what both of us had. First time in the country, we brought about a change in the way governance is done to root out corruption from the bottom. The first time in the country, we've laid guidelines where the country would follow. We made sure that every contract initially goes to a judge before it goes for a tendering process. There is an act what is constituted to look into this. It's called Judicial Preview Act. There's a judge there. Anything what the government is desirous of going for a contract, anything above 100 crores, goes to the judge. Then the judge puts this up in a public domain for 7 days. Anybody, even our critics, are given the freedom to suggest to the judge to make any kind of changes whatsoever they deem fit, so as to make changes in the contractual terms. In that public domain, for 7 days it is put. Anybody could make those changes, because most of the scams usually take place because the contracts are made tailor-made to suit a few people beforehand. So to avoid that, we made sure that the judge sits down there, heads that preview commission, he puts it up in public domain, and he takes opinions from everybody whomsoever wants to give. Then in his own wisdom, after he takes opinion, he makes the requisite changes to the contract documents in discussion with the department. After that, it goes for tendering. And after it goes for tendering, people who quote in the tender process, whomsoever quotes L1, the lowest, without mentioning his name, the name of the firm or name of the company, the amount is displayed. Next day, the auction takes place. So everybody who participated in the tender who scratch their head and think, I could have quoted less, are now given the option to compete in the reverse tendering process. Every 15 minutes, the number changes. And they are competing. So this is what we've done. In fact, what this actually had done in these 7 months' time, some of the contracts what were earlier awarded by the previous government, what reeked of corruption, we cancelled them. We went for this reverse tendering. And in these 7 months, almost 2,000 crores of money was literally saved. Meaning, this 2,000 crores was earlier the number what the tender was loaded with. Since we cancelled the tender, since we went for reverse tendering, the very same work what was awarded at X rate has now become X minus this rate. If we would have not gone for reverse tendering and not cancelled these works, we would have had to pay this 2,000 crores extra to the same contractors to execute the same work. Now, with this reverse tendering coming into the picture, since there is nobody to ask them bribes, close to 2,000 crores is literally been saved in various works. To give an example, I'll give you a TIDCO. This is for housing for weaker section. This was earlier quoted at 2,700 crores or so. Now the same works what are cancelled and what have come now have come at 2,300 crores. This is TIDCO. Polavaram versus earlier contract versus now the reverse tendering, after reverse tendering, 830 crores saving. Rather than the rates going, rather to go up, rates have come down. So is the case with so many things what have been happening. Almost close to 2,000 crores have been saved. And now this has become the model for the state. Any tender now what is to be tendered goes through this process, and I am very confident that this will soon catch up for the entire country, where transparency is to a different level.
May I